Hey, it's Amir and this is another episode of the Daily 10 segment of the Talent Tango podcast here with my brother Arash.
Hello.
And what we wanted to talk about today are career pages, career portals on most sites. My personal philosophy is there's not a lot of traffic. If you're an agency, you definitely not getting a lot of traffic. If
Yeah.
you're and it's because, well, we'll say why. I'll say why in a second. If you're a company, you might be getting traffic, but it also then it all comes down to brand and how much brand you have and how much brand pull you have. And I think then you get traffic, then you have to obviously spend time going through those candidates. But agencies, very few agencies brand in the first place to actually be recognizable, to be trafficked, like direct organic,
Yeah, well,
from
and I
that's
think
almost
yeah, I
impossible.
think just to make sure everybody understands, Amir's talking about literally going to
Yeah, organic traffic.
www.elavana.com. We don't have any of our clients' jobs posted
Yeah,
there.
we don't post our jobs anymore.
Exactly. So the key is who is typing in Randstad.com and then going to Randstad and searching jobs on their page
Well, yeah, I think.
for their clients. I'm not saying to work at Randstad. That's
Well,
different.
no, I think Randstad's big enough. So I think Randstad's big enough that
I was just using that as an
yeah,
example
yeah,
because people
it's
know
it's it's
that
it's a
that
brand.
that
It's a brand. They'll
company.
go, you'll go look for a job. I think if you Google, uh, accounting jobs in Los Angeles, right? You're probably never gonna end up at an agency job
You probably
search.
won't even end up at a lot of
They're all
accounting firms'
they're not.
job
They're
boards.
all of them
There's
are the big aggregators of Indeed, LinkedIn,
still
Glassdoor.
probably Monster up there.
Monster maybe, but what's basically happened is they're the gatekeeper, right? They own the toll booth from the Google handoff. Then once you're on the LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, then it's based on who's paying for a job slot, whether it's being sponsored, which is then gonna go to, well, people are clicking into jobs. How are they deciding what jobs to click in? Some of it might be brand, like, I recognize that brand, I wanna see what their job is, but a lot of times, I bet you a lot of people are it's like going on Amazon right now and shopping, and you just type in anything. You literally type in anything. There's 6 billion of them now, and basically, you're scrolling through not knowing which one to click. You're looking at reviews, and then you're like, "I don't know
Are
if these
these
are
real?
real," but you're like, "Oh, there's a brand I noticed. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna stop at that one."
Right.
I'm actually now noticing when I go to Amazon, I will skip over all the nonsense brands, and I'll try to find the one brand I might have heard of and start there. And it's because the other brands are unknown, I can't trust them. And I think when it comes to organic traffic, typing a job and seeing the listings, you never make it to that. And then when you go to you know, the LinkedIn page where there's all those jobs then you're battling on brand when you're going through the list. People are going to stop off and look at if they're interested in bigger companies, they're going to stop off at the big. If they're interested in mid-sized companies, they're going to stop off at the companies that have brand value to them, or they're just curious and they're opening up 500 tabs and they're doing research, which is less likely.
Probably a lot less. Like, I think the modern job seeker is getting a lot of messages from recruiters, internal and external. So the likelihood that they're going to traffic somebody's own career page is, I think, pretty unlikely. And then to your point, yeah, if they're on, LinkedIn job search or Indeed or something like that, it's going to be who stands out to them, who maybe they have a friend that's worked at, or they've heard about this company. It's been in the news. They got some recent funding. I don't know, they have a billboard in the city that they've seen or something like that, that's gonna trigger them to be like, "Oh, they're hiring? I know of them," right?
Well, it goes back to, I mean, obviously people identify brand, but I think when it comes to, will somebody who's a 60-person startup somewhere in San Francisco, will somebody end up on that person's career page to apply? I mean, maybe there's some. It depends. If you're going from, let's say, angel down to, because those are startups, you don't know who they are because this is this going in, then obviously you're probably clicking through and reading what the companies do, and you're really, really interested in finding what product mission you identify with.
Right.
If you're on LinkedIn or Indeed, you're competing, the smaller companies are competing with the bigger companies for these expensive job slots and, pay per click based on, keywords. And all of a sudden now the bigger companies just dominate them. So your smaller brand may not even pop up onto that
Yeah,
list.
and even when somebody's on Angel List, some of those companies that are, smaller startups, say, like, under 50 or, like, 20 people, they don't even have the jobs posted on their website. So it's literally the job
That
descriptions
is the only place
aren't
the
yeah,
jobs are.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they might have, like, email us if you're interested, like a just a generic, add jobs email, but they don't have the jobs posted on their career pages, or they don't even have a career page for that matter.
Yeah, I actually proposed to, is a little bit larger company that I was talking about, employer branding strategy. I actually proposed they get rid of their career page altogether, and they solely focus on content and experience, and don't even worry about the fact that how many applicants come inbound, especially for their engineering jobs,
Right.
right? Just completely take a different angle, provide the content, have them understand who the client who they are, and, I'm not sure that that was ever gonna fly with them, but, I think, it just depends. I think per role, depending on the type of role you're looking for, I think the job portal makes sense. I think outside of that, depending on what kind of role, what kind of discipline, there's probably now other mechanisms people want and are looking for to understand, and the job itself is immaterial. Like, you can label it a software engineer, DevOps, it doesn't matter. They wanna know what they're working on, what the day-to-day is, and I think
Yeah.
that's a lot more impactful.
Yeah, I mean, I think now we're going into the actual, like, JDs, and I think a lot of them are generic fluff for the most part, or people are trying to be very cool.
Well, you know why the generic fluff, right? So the generic fluff, because you want, if you capture some person to traffic your site, whether it's through, Indeed link to your site or they land on Indeed, they look at your job advert, right? You
Right.
got you got an eyeball now. They wanna make sure that they have covered a little bit more, it's a little bit broader, so they get you to apply. They don't wanna rule you out based on, "These are the 3 specific things," and the person looking and goes, that's not really me. I'm out.
Yeah, no, I think all of us can attest when some candidates like, "Hey, can you send me the job description?" You're like, "Look, I actually talked to the client, to the hiring manager, and that job description doesn't do justice to what the role is," but they still want to make sure they visually checkbox whatever's on the JD. And to your point, Amir, like, there's definitely times where what you see is not
No, it's
necessarily
made broader.
indicative,
I've talked to
you know?
engineering managers. They're like, "Well, we're gonna include 5 more, 6 more technologies, a list of them, put commas and an or and a couple of ands, and basically we wanna capture anyone that might be an outlier or might be this, that, this." So the job description is basically pure advertising, but again, it goes back, what I was saying originally is how many people actually end up on it? That's really the question. Like, I don't know out there, like, the metrics, or people are using Google Analytics to actually see
Well,
traffic to the
are they
page.
actually analyzing it is one thing. If
Well
they have it, and then even if you don't have it, that's the the
well, if
other
you're
component.
analyzing, you can optimize. If you're not analyzing, and that's what my point to the other company was, if you don't know the traffic, I mean, maybe there's no real reason to actually keep your portal if you're getting 26 people a month visiting it. Is it worth a redesign or worth the investment that you're making into it?
No.
Probably not. Probably better off serving other content that you can actually produce to generate more traffic actually.
Well, yeah, I think somebody's gonna come to your site and want to know about your company, right? So job description is one part of it, but knowing more about the culture and just the company overall, the mission, things like that, a little bit more real things than just here. These are a laundry list of things that you need to know, or need to know how to do, right?
I think we can keep talking about this for a while, but that's it. We're at the time. We gotta wrap it up. Employer branding. Who shows up at your website? All very curious. Subscribe. Let us know. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks.
Bye.